All right, here we are, the final synthesis. Welcome back. Over the last 14 parts, we've really dug into these two core philosophies of AI governance. Risk management versus strategic capability. Now, it's time to put all the pieces together.
And just as we wrap up, a quick reminder. You know the drill. This is our final installment, part 15 of 15, based on that big research report from Virtualization Options LLC. Of course, what we're covering here is just a tiny slice of the full report, and remember, this isn't legal advice and comes with no warranty.
So after all of that, after looking at two pretty different ways of thinking, the big question is, what's the final verdict? We've got two philosophies, one all about shareholder value, the other laser-focused on the customer. But here's the thing, they're both building toward one single AI-powered future. So what have we really learned?
When you get right down to it, the entire report really just boils down to this one core divide. It's a fundamental split in how companies even think about the purpose of AI governance. Is it just a shield, a defense mechanism, or is it a sword, a strategic weapon?
And here it is, plain and simple, side by side. The shareholder-focused view sees governance as a necessity, right? It's about managing risk, checking the compliance boxes, and ultimately protecting the bottom line. It's about minimizing liability. But then you look at the customer-focused view, and it's a totally different ballgame. They see governance as an opportunity, a way to build rock-solid trust, to make customer relationships stronger, and to actually create a competitive advantage. It's all about maximizing value, but in a much, much bigger way.
This table, this is where that philosophical split really hits home. You can see how it just cascades down through every single decision. Look at risk assessment. It goes from worrying about financial exposure to worrying about the erosion of trust. Data governance shifts from squeezing every drop of value out of data as an asset to protecting it with a privacy-first mindset. This isn't just a minor policy tweak, it is a completely different worldview at play.
Okay, so we get the divide. Now what? What do you actually do about it? Well, the report doesn't just diagnose the problem, it offers tailored strategies for each path. Let's look at the specific game plan for both shareholder and customer-focused companies.
So if your organization is shareholder-focused, the big advice is to broaden your perspective. The key insight here is that things like customer trust and employee feedback, they aren't just soft, fuzzy concepts. They have very real, very tangible long-term financial consequences. The point isn't to stop caring about value, not at all. It's to realize that if you're only focused on efficiency, you might be building up these hidden risks that could absolutely tank that value down the road.
Now, for the customer-focused organizations, you've got a completely different set of challenges. You're already wired to do the right thing by your customers, which is great, but you have to make it work in the real world. So the advice here is all about being smart and efficient. Streamline your processes so you can stay nimble. Figure out how to actually measure the ROI of all that trust you're building. And don't be shy about it. Proactively market your awesome governance as a reason people should choose you.
But here's the thing. Beyond all that tailored advice, the report makes it crystal clear that some things are just non-negotiable. There's a universal playbook, a set of foundational steps that every single organization needs to take, no matter which camp they're in.
And this right here, this is that playbook. Think of it in two parts. First, the foundation. You absolutely must have clear ethical principles. You have to know who is accountable for what, and you need to be checking regularly to see if what you're doing is actually working. Then, there's the practical side. This stuff needs real money and real people. Your leadership, from the board on down, has to get AI, and you've got to have a plan for when, not if, things go wrong. Honestly, these are just the table stakes for playing the AI game today.
And to make sure this isn't just some abstract idea, the report lays out a super practical roadmap. This isn't something you do in a weekend. I mean, look at this timeline. You start with just assessment and getting leaders on board for the first 3 months. Then you build the framework, the infrastructure, you pilot, you refine, and you don't even get to full deployment until year 2. It just goes to show you, building real, mature AI governance, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
So, after all that, where does this leave us? What's the road ahead look like? The report wraps up by looking at the big forces that are going to shape AI governance for absolutely everyone in the years to come.
And this part is fascinating. The report suggests we might be heading for a future of convergence. These two really distinct paths might actually be starting to merge into one. And it's not by chance. You've got these massive external forces, regulators are cracking down, investors are all about ESG now, and customers simply expect more. All of that is pushing shareholder-focused companies to care more about stakeholders, which, kind of proves the customer-first folks were onto something all along.
And this This brings us to what might just be the single most critical takeaway from this entire series. I mean it. As the quote says, you could have the best plans in the world, but effective AI governance needs resources, attention, and support that can only come from the very top. This isn't a problem for the IT department or the legal team to solve on their own. It is a leadership imperative, period. Which leaves us with one last big thought to end our series. As we've seen, AI governance is so much more than a policy document collecting dust on a server somewhere. It's a mirror. It reflects your organization's core purpose, its values, its vision for the future. It's your philosophy, made real. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what does yours say about you? Thanks so much for joining us on this journey.